Hello friends, and welcome back to the Rolla Public Library's virtual story time. My name is Mr. Derek, and we're going to continue telling Hans Christian Andersen stories, and I'm going to adapt a story and tell you a story titled The Conceited Apple Tree. I renamed it though to The Proud Apple Tree. Conceited means proud and or looking down on people, and we're going to tell a story today about an apple tree that was very proud. So let's go ahead and get started. So there's once a big garden, and in the middle of the big garden there was an apple tree. And the apple tree was looking around at all the plants around him. Because the apple tree was like one of the biggest trees in the whole garden. One of the biggest plants, of course. And he's looking around, and he was looking at all the plants around him, and he was saying, look at those flowers over there. They're not good like I am. Look at that grass over there. They're not good like I am. Look at all those people looking at the flowers and the grass. They don't really know what beautiful things look like. I am the only beautiful thing in this garden. Nothing else is beautiful. The sun was hearing what the apple tree was saying. Oh boy, the sun said. There goes the apple tree again. So the sun looked at the apple tree and he said, Mr. Apple Tree, I've told you many times, you're not better than all the plants that are around you. Stop looking at the flowers and seeing what's wrong with them. Stop looking at the grass and seeing what's wrong with them. Remember, I'm the sun, I make them all grow, including you. And it's very important that you remember that the gardener loves all the plants in his garden. The apple tree shrugged his branches. I don't have to listen to the sun, he said. Well, the apple tree continued, of course, to make fun of all the plants around him. But then he started to get an idea. You know, the sun said that he makes all the plants grow. So what he decided to do was, I could just grow my branches out. I could grow them out far and wide. Because he was a big tree. And he was like, I could just grow my branches out. And then all the flowers and the grass around me, they wouldn't be able to get any sun. And then I would be the only plant, and then everybody would only admire my beauty, because after all, I am the best. Everybody else, all those little plants down there, they're not the best. I am the best. And if I grow my branches out nice and wide, that'll make sure the sun can't get to any of those other plants. And then I will be the only plant here. Well, the sun was listening to that idea, and he knew it was going to be a bad idea. But he already told the apple tree to be careful, because the gardener, after all, likes all the plants in his garden. And so, but of course, the apple tree was definitely going to try to strangle out and get rid of all the other plants that were around. So, sure enough, he starts growing his branches out, and he starts spreading them out far and wide. He's like covering everything. And then the grass and the flowers, they're like, oh, there's no sun. And then something bad started happening. The flowers started to wither, and they got sad, and they fell over. And the grass, which was green, it started turning brown and crunchy, and it needed the sun, and it couldn't get the sun, so it started dying and started going away. And that made the apple tree happy. I am the best after all, and now everybody can admire me only. The apple tree was very proud, and the sun was watching, and he was like, the apple tree is about to get in trouble. Well, sure enough, one day the gardener comes, and the gardener walks by, and the apple tree is looking proud. And the apple tree says, now the gardener can only admire my beauty, because I am, after all, the best there is. And the gardener was actually looking at the apple tree. The gardener looked at the apple tree. And then he looked at the flowers that were down on the ground that were withered and sad, and the grass that was crunchy and brown. And the gardener didn't like what he saw. So what the gardener did was he went to his truck, and he pulled out an axe. Do you remember what an axe is from our story? It's what they use to cut trees down. And he goes up to the apple tree. Now the apple tree didn't know what an axe was. He's like, I wonder what that is. And then all of a sudden, the gardener starts chopping. And you remember how a tree says ouch? It's that clapping sound. So the apple tree was like, ow, ow. Well, the gardener was cutting down the apple tree. And then the apple tree was like, whoa, because he started feeling faint, and he started swooshing around. Can you swoosh around like the apple tree? And then there was a snap, and with a crash, the apple tree fell down. Now, what happened was, the gardener took the apple tree, the part of the apple tree that was down, and he was going to use that for firewood. But there was a little part of the apple tree left, the trunk. And the apple tree, he didn't like that. He's like, I don't like being this small. I can't look down at everybody. And so the apple tree, he was grouchy. He was pouting. He didn't like that. And all the plants came back. The flowers came back. The grass came back. And there was the apple tree trunk. It was just a little trunk hanging out of the ground. And he was like, I don't like being small. And to this day, when the gardener visits, he always makes sure that he sits on top of the apple tree trunk and looks at all the beauty that's around his garden, the flowers and the grass, and he thinks, I have a very beautiful garden. Then, don't forget to come to the Raw Public Library or call and request your activity bag for this week's story time. Have lots of fun and have a good week. Thank you.